Club inventory monthly count without a scanner. The key logistics with your inventory counts, month-end inventory counts, is to ensure that you've coordinated with whoever is responsible for running the point of sale end-of-day updates. If you're going to be taking your snapshot on the 1st of the month or the 30th, 31st of the month, you need to make sure that whoever's responsible for running the end-of-day updates from point of sale has completed all those dates. If for some reason one of those dates has not been updated, that means the sales for that date have not been removed from inventory, which means you're going to have the wrong counts to start with. Assuming all those counts have been updated, the point of sale has been updated, your first step will be to go to Club Inventory, Inventory Count, Snapshot Inventory. Pick the location you want to do the inventory for, and normally when you're not using a scanner, when you're doing a physical count, you will not touch either of these flags, and you will simply click OK at this point for it to take a snapshot. At this point the snapshot has been taken. You can then allow the point of sale to start processing sales again, or hold off until you have finished your count. That's really up to the individual clients which way they'll handle that. Once the snapshot's been taken, your next step will be to print the count sheets. When you go to print the count sheets, there are a couple of options in here. You're going to take the defaults for most of these. The only two that I would point out is, first of all, the show computer quantity on hand. It defaults to yes, and normally if it's the key people doing the counts, you can leave this on. It is sometimes handy to have that, so when it prints the count sheet, we'll see what the system says should be on hand. Some clients prefer to have this as no, because they don't want whoever's doing the count to not do a count and just assume that the system figure is correct. It's again up to the individual whether or not they want that on. The second option is the double space report. If this is turned on, it'll still give you the same count sheet, but it leaves a large gap between each item so that you can write in physical notes if you need to while inputting it. Again, it's just a cosmetic thing, and it's up to the individual clients whether or not they want that. So I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to click on PDF so that we can view the count sheets on screen. So you will have a count sheet, and it will sort it by each category, and then the items listed by their SKU number. The quantity on hand, if you've opted to show that, will be listed, and then a blank line for you to write in the physical count. At this point you can go off and do the physical count of the inventory. If during the process of this count or the snapshot, if you go to Club Inventory Processing and use Receive SKUs or Inventory Receipt Adjustments, the system will probably come up and ask you if you want to adjust the snapshot based on those receipts or adjustments. That prompt will only happen if you have your inventory error set up to prompt you for when you're receiving during a snapshot, and also if the receipt or adjustment is dated on or before the date of the snapshot. Once you've completed your physical count and you're ready to input that count, now you'll take the count sheets back and you're going to go to Club Inventory, Inventory Count, and you're going to go to Enter Item Counts. Again, you're going to take the defaults for everything, and the one key thing is you want to make sure you put on this flag for Get All SKUs. Now if you click just underneath the SKU number on the first row and press F2 to get your list, just pick the very first item in the list. It'll then pull up that item. It'll show you the snapshot or the current quantity on hand according to the system. I don't have any quantity, so mine's showing as blank. And then basically type in the physical count. Now at this point, if you press enter, it'll pick up the next item in sequence. And these are going to come up in the same sequence that they're on the physical count sheets that you printed off, which makes entering the counts a lot easier, because you basically can just work through pressing enter through and putting in the account numbers. When you've put in the counts and you want to leave, you just simply click OK. It'll then want to print a copy of what you've input. Whether you print a hard copy or just file it is entirely up to you. It Basically, if you print it, it's just going to be a copy of what you've put in on this screen. I can put partial counts in, update those, get out, come back, and continue on if I want to. Once you've finished putting in all the item counts, you can then proceed to the next step, which will be the actual valuation, which is the proof to make sure that they're what the discrepancies are, and then update it. Before we go into that, I just want to talk about two other options on this menu. One is the reset counts, and one is the delete counts. Reset counts is just what it says. Basically lets you go in and tell the system to reset all those counts back to what they were when you first took the snapshot. This can be handy if you're putting in counts or you get followed up, you're leaving, coming back, and you get confused about where you are in that count. You may have entered counts double, things may have changed, you want to start from scratch. Then you can rerun this, which will basically reset everything back to what it was when the snapshot was taken, and you can start entering the counts all over again. The other one is the delete snapshot. This allows you to completely delete the snapshot as if it never took place. Now this one you want to be careful when using, because if I delete the snapshot and it's taking me 3 days to do the physical count, in order to take a new snapshot I cannot post date it or stale date it. I must put it in, take the snapshot as of today. So you have to be very careful that point of sale end of days have not been run in the meantime, or adjustments have been made that haven't traced into my physical counts. But if you want to get rid of it, you can through here. So we've got our counts entered in. We're now going to run to the last step, which is valuation report and update. When you come in here, you're going to take the defaults. You want to make sure that option is always preset to preliminary report only on the first run. Date of record does not come into play with a preliminary run, so you can leave it at whatever it goes to. For these flags at the bottom, the only two normally that we recommend should be on are the show variance between actual and snapshot, and the print category summary. I'm going to click OK, and once again I'll use PDF just so we can see the report on the screen. This report will show all of your counts, all of your items, with their appropriate SKU number and their description. And the key part for you is going to be this adjustment quantity. This is telling you the discrepancy between the physical count and what your physical count was. So obviously you want to scan this column and look for any major discrepancies, and then trace back where those discrepancies coming from. Once you're sure about your update and you think everything's good to go, you will rerun this report again taking all the defaults, but this time is the option, instead of being preliminary, will now be final. Now date of record does come into play. This date of record is going to dictate, when you post this, what date stamp it's going to give it for the inventory log to adjust the inventory. Also for the general ledger posting, if there is one, for any discrepancy of shrinkage and overage. For the options, same options as with the preliminary. We want show variance and print category. At this point we will click OK, and then you'll be able to select where you want to print that report to. Once you've run that final valuation report, it will adjust your inventory and clear out the snapshot.